Good afternoon. Thank you all for being here today. I want to begin by acknowledging the fear, the uncertainty, the anxiety that many in our community are feeling right now. Across our country, across Maryland, and here in Howard County, we have seen enforcement actions taken by the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE. These actions have understandably raised questions about safety, responsibility, and the role of local government. To be clear, Howard County government, including our Howard County Police Department, our Howard County Sheriff's Office, do not enforce federal immigration law and will not assist with immigration enforcement activities. That position is grounded in law. That position is grounded in the values of our community. In 2020, the Howard County Council passed the Liberty Act. That was passed with a super majority. The law clearly prohibits the use of county resources for immigration enforcement unless it is required by federal or state law, an international treaty, or an existing intergovernmental service agreement. The Liberty Act also explicitly prohibits discrimination based upon citizenship, nationality, or immigration status. Howard County is proud of our diversity. Our strength comes from people of different backgrounds, cultures, and experiences choosing to call this place home. And I believe deeply and unequivocally that the civil rights of all of our residents must be protected. We will continue to stand firm against any unauthorized criminalization of our residents based on immigration status, race, ethnicity, or any other protected characteristic under our laws. As we continue to witness the devastating consequences of federal enforcement actions across our nation, including loss of life and civil unrest, it is more important than ever that local government acts with clarity, restraint, and compassion. That is why my Chief Administrative Officer issued county-wide guidance to all Howard County government employees this afternoon, outlining exactly how to respond if ICE enters county property, while clearly explaining the boundaries of the Liberty Act. Our goal remains to ensure our workforce understands the law, follows the law, and protects the safety and dignity of everyone we serve. We must stand united against actions that create fear, cause harm, or divide our community, especially right here where trust and cooperation are essential to public safety. On August 5th, our Department of Inspections, Licenses, and Permits issued a building permit for work described as General Services Administration / scope of work includes improvement of tenant spaces, support areas, detention facility, detainee processing, and secured waiting area. The permit was issued for renovations within a privately owned office building located at 6522 Meadow Ridge Road in Elkridge. The permit application was submitted by a third party, a third permitting party, McKeever Services based in Fairfax, Virginia. The building itself is owned by Genesis GSA Strategic One, LLC. County inspections indicate that much of the work covered by this permit is nearing completion. The most recent inspection passed with conditions on December 29th, 2025, and additional inspections will be required before any use and occupancy certificate could be issued. On Friday, January 30th, I announced that I will be submitting emergency legislation with the Howard County Council to prohibit the permitting of privately owned buildings operating as detention centers in Howard County. This legislation, which is Council Bill 16, 2026, will be introduced by the County Council during a legislative session tonight. The public will be able to provide verbal testimony during a public hearing this Wednesday, February 4th, starting at 6 p.m. Written testimony can also be sent via email to councilmail@howardcountymd.gov. I want to thank our council chair, Dr. Opal Jones, Vice Chair Christiana Rigby, council members Walsh and Young for co-sponsoring this emergency legislation and their partnership. At the time of my Friday announcement, I was not aware of any confirmed lease or contract between the property owner, the permitting company, and any federal agency. However, government uses are generally allowed in all zoning districts. Recent reporting and leasing advertisements have been reviewed in the time since, and they have indicated that this privately owned building is intended for occupancy by ICE. The retrofitting of private office buildings for detention use without transparency, without public input, without clear oversight is deeply troubling. The creation of privately owned detention facilities anywhere in our county, in our state, raises serious concerns about public health, safety, welfare, and oversight that must be addressed. In this case, the proposed detention center located in Elkridge sits in an existing office park in close proximity to healthcare providers, schools, parks, and neighborhoods. Within a 1-mile radius are Deep Run Elementary School, Mayfield Woods Middle School, Waterloo Park, Troy Park, Timbers at Troy Golf Course, Gateway Overlook Shopping Center, Ascension St. Agnes Primary Care, Tharbia Academy, Howard County Bureau of Highways Mayfield Shop. The siting of a detention center near these locations raises additional serious and legitimate concerns about community safety, public health, welfare, and quality of life. And it is our responsibility as local leaders to act before harm occurs and not after. Pursuant to the Annotated Code of Maryland, Correctional Services Code Sections 1-101 and 1-102, Howard County now has reason to believe that this facility under renovation at 6522 Meadow Ridge Road appears to meet the definition of an immigration detention facility as defined by state code. In light of state law, which requires private immigration detention centers to meet certain notice and public hearing requirements, today, my Director of Inspections, Licenses, and Permits revoked the building permit for this detention center. I want to thank our County Council for their close collaboration in advancing this emergency legislation expeditiously. I want to thank our state delegation and the Governor's Office who have been incredible partners as we work to collaboratively move forward state legislation to address this concern during the Maryland General Assembly. I want to thank our federal delegation for their collaboration and support throughout this process. Together, we will stand united, work collaboratively together, and safeguard our community and stand up for dignity. That concludes my remarks.